Here we are again with another progression video. Today is November the 26th, 2025. So yesterday we had a marginal risk here and a 2% tornado risk further south down to Alabama, central Alabama, central Alabama, all from west to east. They had a 5% tornado risk. And this will be another cold snap coming up. Today the temps are supposed to fall. Now we've been in this marginal risk for 3 days. So day 3, day 2, and then finally the day 1. And we was looking for possible spin-up tornadoes. Actually, by the HRF, it showed some extraordinarily supercells. But then, I'd say about close to the 11 o'clock update, it showed, I guess the models changed. We had some storms come through about 9 o'clock. Well, it wasn't storms, it was just rain with some pretty good heavy rain, or heavy wind and rain. The wind, I'd say it was probably 40, 45 miles an hour. It was pretty good. It's blowing right around. But then we had what do you call it? After that blew through, I guess they must have looked at new models and showed that the first line, or the first thing that come through, which was actually a pretty good little QCLS, it actually stabilized the atmosphere for the second round, because we were supposed to have 2 rounds. Like I said, first round they said, not supposed to be much. It actually turned into a pretty good little QCLS. Excuse me. We had some pretty heavy winds out of it. No lightning, but some heavy winds, some heavy rain too. Some squally weather. And it dampened the instability. Well, the instability never was really there. We had some low level instability. And they took us out of the marginal risk and put the 2% and the marginal risk down to the south, down into Alabama and northwestern Georgia. So the rest of the day it's pretty much just storms, or pretty much just some rain. So we've had some more rain. So we're supposed to have some cold weather coming in now for Thanksgiving. Today's what, Wednesday? So it's supposed to have some, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. And then I'm off Friday too, so. But anyway, so you can see how all the trees are pretty much devoid of leaves. All the leaves are on the ground. Of course, these are not all our leaves, but it's starting to get that winter look to it. So, Mambo. So yeah, everything's starting to get that winter look. Actually, this is starting to try to grow again. You can see. So that first freeze will probably stop that. Well, we've actually had a first freeze. That's what killed the the leaves on the banana tree, but they're trying to grow back because we've had warm weather. Let's see. Wrinkles. Thing ain't rising. Well, we didn't get but about 2 inches. So we got about another inch of rain. But yeah, all these leaves and stuff is pretty much here. I mean, like I said, a lot of the trees are empty of leaves. Ooh, see that red barn down there, off in the distance. Oh, yeah, it's windy today because that front passed through. We got an additional front that's coming through. I don't think we have any moisture in the air for rain, so just have just another front come through, and that'll reinforce the cold air. Temperatures it's supposed to come through. It's probably come through now, or it's already moved through because it's getting close to lunchtime. They said about lunch temps will start tumbling. Now I think tonight they're supposed to get it down in the 30s, maybe the 20s. What do you think, Delilah? She's like, I don't know. Just want to be left alone. And then we'll have it'll be cold for the next about a week, maybe a week and a half. I'm not really sure. So the warm temps might be gone for a bit, and we'll see if it warms up in time for December. And then December will have maybe it's severe weather thing. And then you'll start getting into the first of the year, which will be January. And we'll see if, yesterday I didn't really have a lot of time to, look at the weather because I was driving. So I kind of stopped it. Boat. So I was driving. I didn't have time to look at the weather. I just had to, whenever I got new day one updates and stuff, and any mesoscale discussions, which yesterday we had no tornado reports. So that tells me that it didn't pan out like they thought it would. And that usually is what happens in the during the fall. You can get some days where it's, you get an extreme, outbreak. It's happened in the past. I'm going to take, for example, the Veterans Day outbreak in November. February has actually had an outbreak, So, it happens during the winter, but it's just a lot harder to get, like, moisture return and instability to really come up. Now, I think yesterday, the warm front that was supposed to move up over our area and bring the instability with it, I think that first round kept that from rising really all that good. Usually strong storms, which we had come through, they can keep a warm front from rising, But even in the warm sector, what do you call it? Storms was a hard time getting organized. The what do you call it? The shear, which was north of the actual instability. So the high shear, because it's, you know, yesterday was a high shear, low cape event. Well, there was high shear but no cape yesterday. That's the thing, the instability wasn't able to rise far enough north to overlap the high level shear and the low level shear, so we couldn't get instability up there. So that's the reason that, you know, it was, eat up our wrinkles. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So that's the reason that we just, nothing happened. I think they had some large hail reports and a little bit of wind damage, and that was actually from the first round. Hi, Delilah. We actually had more wind damage from the first round than we did from the second round. The second round, if you looked at the 0 to 6 kilometer and the initiating boundary, the winds were actually perpendicular to the initiating boundary. So we had discrete storms, but like I said, the instability, a lot of them fired in that no shear to keep them sustained, and then they moved out of the instability into and become elevated. That's the reason we had the hail of, you know, some large hail there. We had the high shear but zero cape. They moved out of the instability because the instability was stuck down to the south. So that's the reason we didn't have anything. So that was yesterday. Another marginal risk in the books that didn't pan out like they thought it would. So we move on to any more. Now in Texas the day before, Monday, they did have a tornado touchdown in Texas, East Texas. And it caused some, I think some EF2 maybe, might have been EF1 damage. So they had a damaging tornado move through that area. So that's, you know, you're gonna get something out of a system, man. Sometimes you don't, but that's what you got to be on the lookout for. Is, ain't that right, Wrinkles? Wrinkles like, I don't want to be out here. Now I gotta wait for this to dry up again and try to rake it there. Because if you rake it wet, it's not gonna do any good. But anyway, I figured I'd make a video talking about this past event and to show our own. All the leaves are gone. And of course today we have that front coming through. It's real cloudy. It's cool. I mean, it's not cold, it's cool right now. It actually feels really good out here. It's really comfortable. I think it's 58, something like that, 57. It's not really all that cold. It's actually pretty warm here. I mean, it just feels comfortable. You know, the air is dry and, you know, the wind, you actually got a little bit of a chill in it. But I'm out here in a t-shirt. I am in pants, not in shorts. Because I know it's gonna get colder throughout the day. So And I'm taking my morning walk. CJ, he's still laying in the bed, sleeping. He's up till, I don't know, 11:30, 12 o'clock, something like that. And I worked yesterday, so I was pretty tired when I went to bed. Well, we set up. Delilah, what are you doing? She's just hanging out, waiting on you when you get tired of being outside. Trying to dry my chair out so I can sit down. But anyway, like I said, it's a nice day. Today is. It's supposed to get colder, and then tonight, can't remember tonight. I think it's Thursday night. We're supposed to be down in the 20s. It's supposed to be a little bit colder. Start having to wear the 2 shirts. I gotta drag down the records in the record player today. So I ain't worried about them speakers, and I don't think them speakers would work very good. Just have to get her some speakers there. But tomorrow's Thanksgiving. We'll be heading up to Aunt Carol's and eating a good Thanksgiving meal, hanging out, talking. Be spending time with family. Be some good times. Want it? Bo. Want it? Bo says, I'm busy. Leave me alone. And then we'll have it, be the end of the month. This won't be the first cold snap like it was last year. This will be her second real cold snap, not just a cool. It ain't been really all that warm, not like it was last year. Last year it was actually fairly warm throughout the whole year. So not much of a winter. I hope that ain't forthcoming of things to come like, last year was. Whenever we had we didn't have a real cold winter. And I swear it was terrible. It was there. Starting of the March, oh yeah. We had, real bad outbreak of that high risk in March 15th. And then again on April the 2nd, we had a high risk, 2 high risk. And that's not rare. It does happen. You don't see it that often, but it does happen. So hopefully next year is a little bit more calmer. I don't think it will be. But I think next year I will kind of do a lot more screen recordings. Now see, last year, a lot of our severe weather things were all at night. It was like way early in the morning and stuff when we started having like tornado warnings and stuff like that. So it ain't 3, 4 in the morning there and you're having I just never thought to record, but I guess it ain't gonna hurt to throw on a screen recording and show that what we're having in the middle of the night. That'll give you an idea of the type of weather we have in the middle of the night while most people are sleeping there. Ain't that right, Delilah? She's like, sure, whatever you say, man. Oh, but anyway, that'll be my next project right there, is to clean all that out. So, been watching a lot of videos about Metal Gear. Metal Gear is a video game, but it's real. The way it's set up has its own storyline, and it's really interesting storyline. And it's kind of based on, I wouldn't say true events, but events that could take place without anybody really knowing it, and how the government can lie to you. You know, it's some of it is in the realm of possibility, like the conspiracies and stuff. I don't think the U.S. government goes that far, but you never know. You know, I mean, you never really know what's really going on. Now, some things of the game is, you know, you can tell it's a game. One thing is the all famous cardboard box. You get in a cardboard box and you lay it down like it's just sitting there, and you move along the ground and make sure when the guards see you that they don't see the cardboard box movie. So there's no way. Also, another one is to sneak past guards. He's got to crawl along the ground, and if they don't see you, then you know you're gonna get away with it. It's not gonna happen. You know. See how dry our seat is. Ooh, there's a slug. He's slowly getting away. Anyways, though, a lot of that game is, you know, it's BS, but it's still interesting the way they integrate the real United States government in it. A little bit moist, damp. Let's see if we can sit in it. What do you think, Delilah? Oh, sit down for a minute. Yeah, you can really see how all the trees are leafless. So you can really see. What was that? You can see how all of them are leafless. How it all happens. So let's get that winter look to it. So anyway, we have got to, like I said, I got to pull some records down today, look at them, and then anyway, I figured I'd make a video doing a progression. I ain't done it in a while. And I thought about that, you know. I don't remember my last video, but I'm like, I kind of ain't been doing it in a while there. Show a progression of what's going on, you know, talk about yesterday and the day before. You know, it was another setup that didn't pan out. We didn't have the instability. So we had the moisture, we didn't have the instability, and we barely had the moisture there. We had really shallow dew points, so it really wasn't all that good. So, but you know, during the fall it's hard. During the early or winter, it's, you know, you can get, and then also during the early spring, it's hard to get it. But once it's in there, you know, you can start getting it during the spring. and then the late or early summer, and then during the late or during the early summer there, then it kind of starts fading out here anyways. So anyway, this is the way it's going so far. The nature is preparing for winter, getting ready for them dark, cold days, which so far we haven't really seen. We've seen a couple of 20s here and there, but nothing like, normal winter. We're still warm. I mean, it's, you can get them days during the, fall, but anyway. I will see you probably in the next video.